What will that person do in Arizona? And what does Arizona do now after this meeting? Frank Antenori is a Republican Arizona state senator. Nice to have you with us, Mr. Antenori.
Oh, thanks for having me on, Allison.
All right, so it sounds like the headline from this meeting is that the White House will send an official to Arizona in the next month. Are you satisfied with that outcome?
It's all a smoke and mirrors maneuver by the federal government and the Obama administration. Nothing is being done to help deal with this issue on our southern border, whether it was the smokescreen with the 1,200 National Guard troops that aren't really going to be used on the border, or this token gesture by the president to send somebody down here on a fact-finding mission. Governor Brewer made it plain to the president he's welcome to come down here, tour the border, see the problem, see the economic impact to the state, speak to residents and ranchers that are dealing with this problem. Look at the environmental damage that is being done to our pristine desert by the tons and tons of waste and garbage and debris that's being dumped by these illegal aliens that come through. It is just as much of an ecological damage that's occurring in the Gulf right now, and yet they pay no attention to it. They want to look the other way and let Arizona and other border states bear the burden for their failure to act. And I just see it as just another smokescreen.
So is that what you'd like to see next? The president actually pay a visit and see with his own eyes what's going on down there?
Yeah, the governor offered him the opportunity to come down and speak directly with the residents that live along the border, the people that are in my district and District 25 that are the neighboring legislative districts that cover Cochise County and Pima County and Santa Cruz County, which are the border counties that we're talking about here, and actually speak to these people that deal with it every day. And he didn't want to come down. He doesn't have the time. I mean, he would rather go on stage and dance with Paul McCartney than protect and defend the people of the state of Arizona and the United States by securing our border. And people need to be held accountable in Washington for their failure to uphold a constitutional oath that they took to support and defend the Constitution and protect the citizens of this country, and they're not doing that. And I know the governor is far more diplomatic than I am, and she tried to be very nice with the president and say, hey, please and please and please. It's time to quit saying please, and it's time to start holding these people accountable and get some action down here. My constituents demand it, the residents of the state demand it, and by the polls that I'm sure you guys are seeing, the people of this country demand that the federal government act and quit playing games down here.
Well, Mr. Antenori, not only that, as you know, the Justice Department is considering moves to actually block the new law from taking place. It's supposed to happen July 29th. Given that, do you think this law really will go into effect in July, or will it be stalled?
We've had several constitutional scholars review the law, and they are firm in their belief that it will withstand any judicial challenge and Supreme Court challenge and will be upheld by the courts. It may delay the enactment through having certain activist judges that disagree with the law kind of put a stay on it or stay the implementation of it. But when it comes down to the final decision, and eventually that will be at the Supreme Court, there is no doubt, because the law was clearly mirrored after federal law, that there is no preemption issue, that it will withstand judicial scrutiny and Supreme Court scrutiny and be upheld, just like the previous laws that Arizona has passed dealing with illegal migration. Both of those were upheld by the courts. So we feel confident that while it may delay the enactment, eventually this law will be allowed to stand and will go into effect.
Meanwhile, a California Congresswoman, Linda Sanchez, has gone so far as to call this law, the law that you voted for, she said that it was influenced by white supremacists. Let me play you a clip of her. All right, I know that audio was sort of hard to hear. She said that it's been documented that there were ties to white supremacist groups in crafting this law. Your reaction?
Well, you know, the Congresswoman, much like her sister, who I was on a debate with on one of the other networks, loves to throw out inaccurate and distorting information. In this case, something that's way over the top. And the left loves to throw the race card, because once they realize that they can't discuss the facts of the issue and win on the grounds of the facts, they start to create a distortion of reality. And the truth is, this bill was not crafted. It had nothing to do with white supremacists. She's quoting a left-wing blog that tries to blame FAIR, an organization, by the way, whose board of directors includes Frank Morris, who is the former executive director of the Congressional Black Caucus, as a board of directors, which I don't think he is a white supremacist. So she, again, is trying to throw the race card to distract the issue that Arizona is dealing with a significant impact from illegal aliens that reside in the state. We've had police officers killed and murdered by people that are here in Arizona illegally. We've had rapes and murders committed in the state, and we have got to do something about it. And again, to distort this, it's just a disappointment that she has to go to that level. And it's so over the top, nobody's buying it anymore. It's such a wasted and overused excuse, this race issue, that nobody's buying it. And it's falling on deaf ears, and it's making her look quite silly, actually, because she just knows, because you could tell by her backpedaling that it isn't going to go anywhere.
Arizona State Senator Frank Antenori, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Allison.
All right, coming up, a potential showdown at